Shade from New Jersey. It's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Hey, Darren, how you been?
Been all right, been okay. Got new episodes of SNL to talk about. We're finally back from our long, treacherous hiatus from SNL.
Was it that long?
No. It was like 2 weeks. But it felt like an eternity,
yeah.
John.
All right. Yeah. It does feel like a while, I guess. Yes.
It does. Like when you don't have... Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. We keep talking over each other this week for some reason. I don't know why we're doing that.
Oh, boy, yeah. The energy's weird, folks. The
energy's weird. The energy is weird, and I blame myself.
Oh, man. But
like most things in life, I blame myself.
Yes. It's all John's fault.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a good rule for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we had a little bit of news in the SNL verse. They announced some new hosts and the new musical guests for the next couple of weeks. So that's always exciting.
Yeah. Breaking news. They yeah, well, it seems like on SNL it's going to be ladies' night because this is going to be like 3 lady hosts in a row. I mean, 4 if you count Jenna Ortega. But
and why wouldn't we? I believe she counts as a woman.
Yes, she is. She's all woman.
Okay,
she's always a woman to me.
I wonder if they've ever had 4 female hosts in a row. I don't want to do the research on that, but I will idly ask the question.
Yeah, I could look into it, but I'm pretty sure it's never happened. But either way,
yes, it probably hasn't happened. Yeah, but I mean, it feels like it would take longer to answer that question than I really want to know. So I will just assume that it is the first time that it's ever happened.
Yeah, the moment you look into it and do the research, you're like, I kind of lost interest already. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a question. It would probably take me at least 10 minutes to answer, and it would involve a lot of scrolling through lists of hosts through all the seasons, all 48 seasons of the show, and I really don't want to spend that kind of time.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes. Ugh.
Yeah. So like the amount of effort I would have to expend to answer that question, it really is more than I want to answer that question definitively. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, on the next episode of SNL, April 8th, we got returning host SNL alum Molly Shannon coming back to host for her second time.
That's cool.
She first hosted back in 2007 with musical guest Linkin Park.
Wow, I would not have guessed it was that long ago.
Yeah, it was that long ago. So yeah, April 8th, Molly Shannon with the Jonas Brothers. This is the Jonas Brothers' third time on the show.
So that's been literally like 16 years since she last hosted?
Yeah.
Did I do that math right? That's nuts. That is crazy pants.
Yeah, like, oof. But I'm excited for this. I mean, Molly Shannon, she's one of the most beloved SNL cast members, alumni of the past. I don't know. She was in an era where I still kind of feel like she might have gotten a little overshadowed in her cast with like being with Will Ferrell and Sherry O'Terry and Chris Kattan. They seem to be getting more of the shine. But like I think in her tenure, people did recognize that she was a strong performer and she was really well liked and loved and just like super physical too. If you look at her old sketches, like Mary Catherine Gallagher, Sally O'Malley, she was like constantly just throwing herself like against the walls and just like really like kicking and
so many folding chairs crashed into during her time on the show. Yeah. She would bruise herself up. She was throwing herself into it literally. Particularly Mary Catherine Gallagher.
Yeah, there were a few times when she threw herself into those folding chairs. I was genuinely concerned. I was like, can somebody please check on her? Like that hurt me seeing her fall into those chairs. Like I hurt because she hurt.
Wow.
But yeah,
it's so empathetic of you, Darren.
I'm a man with the golden heart.
You are.
But since then, Molly Shannon's been doing a lot of stuff. She's in the new Zach Braff movie that just came out, A Good Person with Florence Pugh. And,
that's cool.
She's on that highly underrated sitcom. The Other Two that's going to have a new season on HBO Max in May. She was in uh, I forget. No, that movie she was in with
With the
uh
people.
with the people.
Yeah.
Oh, the promising young woman. That's it. She
Oh,
was
she
in.
was in that. Oh,
She
okay.
was in, that movie was fantastic. I really think.
I don't know if I knew that she was in that. I'm gonna have to add that to our list of possible SNL nerds movies.
Yeah. I think Carrie Mulligan. She was in with that. So like she's been doing stuff, and of course,
Hmm.
I love that for you with Vanessa Bayer, another SNL alum, the Showtime
Okay, what
show.
is this? Molly Shannon's IMDb page? I don't know why I became Jewish for that, but it just
What
felt
is
right.
what is this? An IMDb page all of a sudden? Uh,
Okay, we get it. She works a lot. All right.
oh, Mara, oi, Gavalt. But yeah, so she's been doing a lot of stuff, and people love her. So I'm looking forward to seeing her return on the show next week. So
Hmm.
looking forward to that. And April 15th, first time guest host Ana de Armas with
Mm.
musical guest Carol G.
Carol G. Not familiar with Carol G.
Me neither. I looked her up. She's like a Latinx musician from.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Latin necks, as in like the thing the head is attached to, and I was like Latin necks, and then I
She's a Lat.
realized what you'd actually said was Latin
She's
necks.
she's a neck. She performed. No, she's from Colombia. Like her music, from what I gathered online, it's like Latina reggaeton, Bad Bunny type of
Oh,
musical
okay. Well,
style.
that's
So
that's kind of an interesting and I suppose appropriate matchup for Anna de Armas.
yeah. So and then Anna de Armas, she's having a real big, kind of resurgence these days. Her career is on the rise. Of course, she kind of came to a lot of people's attention through Knives Out. And
Mhm.
I believe she was in one of the James Bond
She
movies.
was. She was in the last Bond movie, No Time to Die. Not
Right.
in it nearly enough for my money
Hey
because
now.
she's really in it for pretty much a scene. It's pretty much an extended cameo, and
Hmm.
she kicks ass in it. Did you see the last Bond movie?
I still haven't gotten around to seeing it. I should.
Okay, well, it's worth seeing. But
Okay.
yeah, she's really good in it, and she's got a nice chemistry with Daniel Craig. And they, of course, they knew each other in Knives Out. She also
Right.
got an Oscar nomination this year for
Ooh.
the Marilyn Monroe movie she did, Blonde,
Yeah,
which
I haven't seen it, but I know that movie's very divisive.
I've heard mixed things on the movie, but I've pretty much universally heard that she's very good in it. And I haven't watched the movie yet. I let my Netflix subscription lapse a while ago. I think it was on Netflix, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it was.
So I haven't been able to check it out.
Yeah, and she's going to be in the upcoming Apple TV movie Ghosted with Chris Evans, and she's going to have her own John Wick spin-off series. That movie called Ballerina that she's going to be
Was she in
spearheading.
any of the John Wick movies, or
I believe she was in the last one, but because
okay?
like I know they're doing a spin-off of the John Wick movie, and she's gonna like spearhead it.
No, okay,
So
that's neat.
I'm
Well,
assuming,
I can totally see her headlining an action franchise.
yeah.
She does her big sequence in the Bond movie is mostly stunt work, or I mean, a lot of stunt work anyway, and she acquits herself quite well. So I'm
Yeah,
really looking forward to seeing what she does as a host.
yeah.
So
Like I mean, as a host, my only concern is like I hope they don't do this thing, and SNL's done it in the past where when they have a host that's known for their beauty and attractiveness, like 90% of the sketches are just about how hot their host is. Like they kind of did it with Margot Robbie, and they did it
mhm,
with Michael B. Jordan. When J Lo hosted, it was kind of the same thing. It was like, oh my gosh, she's so hot, and I hope they
mhm.
don't lean on that too much.
I think we're going to see at least a sketch or two where
Yeah,
they do that. I feel like it's unavoidable because I mean that is a part of her brand. Let's
yeah,
face it, and
yeah.
I mean, hey, speaking as a heterosexual dude, I'm not sorry. I'm going to get to stare at Ana de Armas for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's there are worse ways I could spend my time.
A Chihuahua.
Yeah,
Mamma Mia, here I go
she's
again.
she's been blessed by the genetics.
Yes, absolutely.
Um, do
Yeah.
you remember that sketch that Mikey Day did where he was like the boyfriend who was out running an errand and he had to remember what he was running an errand for? And at one point, he just gets distracted by a bus poster with Ana de Armas on it.
Yes, that was on the Selena. Selena Gomez episode. One of the better sketches on that episode.
Yeah, that was a good sketch, and I was like, yeah, yeah, I totally get it. That would happen to me.
Don't get distracted by Anna de Armas.
So,
Uh,
yeah, so good news on the host front, I think. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, like I'm looking forward to both shows. I've saw some people online talking about that. Maybe there's a chance these two shows might be the last episodes of the season, and I think that's only because there still might be a writer's strike happening. Like,
Oh, okay. I
yeah,
was wondering about that. I was
yeah,
very
like
confused.
I think that's still kind of in a wait and see type of phase. I mean, luckily we got past the post production editors phase of the strike, and that's done. But I think
Right.
the WGA, the writers' strike thing, still might be in play. So I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
hoping they get that all settled, and I'm hoping we get some May episodes. But I mean, if these are the only episodes of the season, I think it's a good way to end it. But hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know that that was a possibility that the writer's strike was up in the air. But yeah, well, I wish them the best. I hope the writers get every single thing they want and are asking for, and even a few things that they're not. I hope they get some
Absolutely.
bonus things.
Yes, give them all the swag and bonus things they ask for. I mean, they're
Yeah,
writers. There is no show without a writer, for crying out loud.
yeah, yeah. That's very very true. I mean, without writers, you have uh, this podcast. Just two dudes free associating.
Yes, absolutely,
And who
absolutely.
wants that, really?
Not me.
No. Oh God, no.
Not I said the
Um,
fly.
so let's talk about the current episode of SNL, or the most recent episode of SNL, which is of course Quinta Brunson and Lil Yachty. This is season 48, episode 16, and it aired on April 1st, 2023. So first time host Quinta Brunson from Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, I was looking really forward to this episode. I mean, Quinta Brunson, who's somebody who does come from a comedy background. She did do stand up. She did, from what I understand, she did study improv years ago at like Second City, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
So she does, and she's written on a lot of sitcoms as well. I think she wrote on Big Mouth and a few other things too. So she's no stranger to the comedy game. So like I knew going in that like, all right, she seems to be like a more than a capable host for this show. And I'll honestly say I think I was proven correct. I thought she was a pretty solid host throughout the show.
I was not disappointed. I mean, she did an excellent job. I would say she just brought it in like every sketch she did, and hell, I'm not going to bury the lead. I thought this was a pretty strong episode overall.
Yeah, I would agree. Cosign, sir, cosign.
Okay, well, this has been our latest episode of the SNL Nerds. It was a bit shorter than usual.
Yep, that's it.
Um,
You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at SNL Nerds Show. You can rate, review.
would it be great if we just signed off with that and we didn't discuss any sketches in depth? We were just like, "Yep, liked it. Thanks for listening."
Bye. Rate, review, subscribe. Thank you. Bye. And then the theme song plays.
It's a 10-minute episode. Yep, I liked it. Me too. All right. Thanks, everybody.
No, John. We gotta break this down like we always do, man. Come on.
Okay.
Come
All
on,
right.
man. Cold open. Let's get into it.
I was hoping to finish up early and run some errands, but okay, yes. We started out with the Trump indictment cold open because yeah, this week on Friday, I believe it was, Trump was finally indicted for the whole paying off a porn star thing, and he was indicted on 34 counts of business fraud.
You can't do that.
So, yay!
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
well, I mean, I think you can. I think there aren't. I don't think there are any laws against paying off porn stars, but if you do it with campaign funds, it's kind of frowned upon.
What?
Yeah,
I gotta make some calls.
yeah. So
But
of
yeah,
course we have James Lawson Johnson doing his Donald Trump and just talking about the whole thing.
yeah. Like I think as soon as I saw that the news broke about this, because I think it officially broke like Thursday night, and then there was more people talking about it on Friday. As soon
Mhm.
as I saw that, I was like, okay, this is this is going to be the cold open. The writers the writers need to write a whole new cold open like right now.
Yeah, I mean, how could
But
it not be? Honestly, like when I was watching this, the first thing I thought is, okay, why is his hair blonde? Like, it, they
he has
didn't get the hair color right. I'm like, why? Why is he? This is the wig he had before, is it?
I don't know. Maybe he has like I don't know. I
It
try not
looked off to me.
the wow. I didn't even notice that.
Okay, well,
Okay,
maybe it was just me then.
okay. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But yeah, so it's basically in this cold open. It's Trump talking about how he got indicted, and of course he needs the support from his fans more than ever. And of course he doesn't want their money, but you know he might just wants their loyalty and maybe their money. And
Yeah,
then he pitches it by, and apparently he made some song by with the J6 prison choir, which is a real thing, very disturbing.
yeah.
And yeah, and then it turned.
First off, this is the first I'd heard of this, that the J6 choir was a thing. And if these guys are all locked up, convicted and locked up now, how are they getting together for like choral practice?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, maybe prison has great acoustics, and they just
I,
do it in
I
the
don't- are
commissary or
they
the.
all in the same facility? That seems weird, but okay.
Yeah, maybe. Like, yeah,
Uh,
how are you able to find somebody else who shares your love for a cappella in prison? Like,
I don't know.
that's
I
kind
don't
of a
know.
rare thing.
A lot of singing in the shower, I guess.
I guess so.
I don't know. I have questions, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's like, oh, hey, hey there, Crip.
so
I love your arpeggio. Do you want to?
So yeah, Trump is pitching this compilation album that he's doing. It's one of the names he gave was Trump Bops, and it's 30 classic covers, all horrible.
Right. Or now that's what I call
Running
my
through
legal defense
various
fund.
songs.
Right.
Yes,
Exactly. And yeah,
and he's
and that
doing songs like all like the Smash Mouth song. Was it All Star or?
no, he did hard to handle the Black Crows.
Oh,
Um,
that was it. That was it. Didn't he? Didn't do a Smash Mouth song, did he? I didn't really write down the songs.
no,
So
no, he did that. He then Keenan comes in dressed as Don King. And then they sing.
Keenan comes in with a horrible Don King impression.
Yeah,
Uh,
almost almost as good as his Mike Tyson.
Fun fact: Don King apparently sounds exactly like Keenan Thompson. I'm at a loss at this point. Why does the show keep having Keenan do impressions when Keenan pretty much refuses to do impressions?
I do not know.
I don't. I just. I mean, it's fine that he's on the show. It's fine he does characters, but don't have him do impressions. He can't. He doesn't really do impressions anymore. He just comes out and he sounds like Keenan, and it's just driving me nuts, man.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, it's just it just really feels like he's phoning it in, which is very annoying.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, but they sing "Island in the Stream."
Yeah,
Then then he brings out Afro Man. Then we have Devin come out as Afro Man, and they
Evan
sing.
Walker is Afro Man, which is that's a blast from the past. That like that that because I got hot, because I got, and that song's like 20 years old now, right?
Yeah, I think Afro Man's kind of in the news right now because he came out with like a music video that has features some footage of the cops breaking into his house or something like that, and now the cops are suing him for it.
Oh wow, okay, that's
It's a
news to
whole
me. All
thing.
right,
Yeah,
I did not know that Afro Man was relevant again.
I mean, kinda not relevant's a strong word. I would say he's just.
Yeah, I guess so.
I would just say he's in the zeitgeist a little bit.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then
And
we have Mikey Day coming out as Don Jr. singing an Ice Spice song with him. Boy's a
Boys a
Liar.
Liar Part 2, which completely new song to me. I have not heard this song before, but
Yeah, this is the one the Gen Zs know, the kids who are into the
oh,
Ice
okay.
Spice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So it was an okay cold open.
I think it went on a little too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I think I'd say the sketch might have been the weakest of the night for me, just because like it
I
goes on.
I I think it was, but I think that was more because of how strong the rest of the show was than this being weak. I thought it was fine. It just was maybe a slightly average SNL cold open.
Yeah, it kind of went all over the place, but I mean that might have been by design because Trump himself kind of goes all over the place whenever he's talking. So,
You
it's,
think?
yeah, like he just has that, freewheeling mind where he just says whatever's on his
Yeah, he just
we'll
he
say
just free
brain.
associates. It's just word salad or like word diarrhea. Really, just
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I thought that like because he's pitching this album, so I thought it'd be more like an infomercial type of thing. But it doesn't really get into it infomercial vibe. It just
it
kind
was
of
sort of that.
sorta. But
But
then
yeah,
but then it's just him like rambling about other stuff, and when Don King comes out, it's like, oh yeah, Don King, he killed a guy, you got away with it. Can you believe that? Like it's just like whatever kind of comes into his mind. So there's no real linear uh, thing to the sketch. It just kind of goes all over the place, and I I don't know. I do think it went on a little too long. They could have cut out that Afro Man part and even the Don King part, and
yeah,
they could have just like made it a little bit tighter.
it was 6.5 minutes. That is a little long.
Yeah.
But do we have writer credits for this?
Oh, we do. La 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 la. Mike DeCenzo, Alex English, Jake. Oh wait, no, we don't. That's the monologue. Never mind. We don't have cold open notes
Okay,
for
then
this.
let's just move on to the monologue, and since we're on the writer credits, let's go ahead and give the writer credits for the monologue.
Mike DeCenzo, Alex English, Jake Nordwin, Kate Peterman, and Jordan Temple
My
helped them.
goodness, that is a lot of monologue writers.
It is. I think Quinta brought in some people because I know Jordan Temple. He's not an SNL writer, but I
Yeah,
know
the
he does work
name
on
is
Ab.
not ringing a bell.
Yeah, Jordan Temple I know because he was like a New York comic. I had him on one of my Brooklyn shows way back in the day, and like he works on TV shows. Like he works on Atlanta. He does work on Abbott Elementary, and I think he worked on Miss Maisel a few years
Hmm.
back too. So like I'm
Always
pretty sure.
interesting when the hosts bring in their own writers.
Yeah, I think.
I wonder how that's received.
I don't know. I mean, it's been happening for a while. I mean, didn't Richard Pryor bring in Paul Mooney for
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah. No, I'm not saying it's. I mean, I'm not saying it's that unusual of a thing. I don't think that's the. I don't think they do it every week, but I don't think it's uncommon.
Hmm.
And obviously they allow it. But I just think it's got to be maybe a little awkward because you have people coming in who don't normally write for the show,
Yeah, that's true. That's always a little like,
so you're
the
sort of like invading their turf.
yeah, I'm sure the writers maybe feel like, oh, I'm not good enough to write for blah blah blah, but this guy is type of thing.
Exactly, exactly.
But
So yeah,
I don't know.
I could see it being potentially awkward, but
Yeah,
who knows? Maybe they were all welcomed with open arms, and it was all smooth sailing.
yeah, no problems at all.
But yeah, Quinta Brunson. She talked about how she wanted to be on SNL back in the day, but the audition process was really long. So instead, she just created a hit TV show and got a bunch of Emmys and all that, and that was like way easier.
Yeah,
So
so that's all you got to do, folks, if you want
yeah,
to be on SNL.
yeah, yeah. So it's nice that she found an alternate route.
Yeah.
And she showed a little video of herself with her friend Obama.
Hmm. Never heard of him.
Um, so I thought it was a pretty good monologue overall.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, she talks about how the success she's had with Abbott Elementary has really changed her life, and how people kind of come up to her about issues they have, with the educational system and the problem teachers go through. Like Quintus sort of has become like the unofficial spokesperson for teachers out there across the country because as we all know, like teachers just don't get the funding or the money or the kind of
Yeah,
the
and
respect they
people are
need.
are coming to her and they're saying like, "How do we solve these problems?" And she's like, "You don't go to the cast of Succession and say, how do we fix our financial system?" So
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
ask me because I
yeah,
don't know. She's an actress for a reason, people.
yeah. I mean, it is a bummer that like people have to go to actors and actresses to help them with their issues when it's like, no, shouldn't there be somebody in like your union or something that can help you with this? Like, why I just put on
Yeah,
clothes and do make believe. I can't help you with your fix the educational system.
yeah, yeah. It is a weird assumption that we always assume that actors have this great deal of knowledge about a part that they happen to be playing. I remember like reading an interview with Juliana Margulies, I think
Hmm.
when she was doing ER, and she was talking about how she was at the gym once and like somebody keeled over or or something was going wrong with somebody, and like people in the gym were like turning to her, and she was like, "Call an ambulance. I play a nurse on TV, not actually a nurse."
But like, didn't you learn something from nursing from all those roles? Like,
Yeah, not
oh,
enough.
oh dear.
But you know, a good monologue overall. I enjoyed it. I
Yeah,
loved that they didn't do yet another. Oh, here are my humble beginnings. Here's like a weird early job I did, or here's a video I shot when I was a kid. They've been doing that way too much lately, and I'm glad they didn't do it this week.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I like the little jokes you put in comparing teachers to dishwashers about like how,
Hmm.
there's something we kind of take for granted, and the moment we don't have a dishwasher, then we realize how like essential dishwashers are. Like the same
Right,
way when parents couldn't take their kids to teachers during COVID lockdown, it's like, oh wait, now I have to teach these dishes. Why did I
right.
have so many dishes?
I
That
didn't
didn't
even want to have that last dish. Yeah, that was
exactly.
good.
And
That was
I
good.
love how I did like how she ended it with like, giving a shout out to her mom and how important she was. Her mother was also a teacher in Philadelphia, kind of inspired Abbott Elementary, and she just her last lines are just, yeah, just pay teachers what the money they deserve. They do so much for us. Like the least we could do is pay
Hmm.
them the money they need to teach our future.
Yeah.
And like I applaud that.
I mean, this may be a radical statement, but Darren, I believe the children are our future.
Yes, I
You know,
teach
and
them
if you
well.
teach them well, let them lead the way. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying. I think.
just show them all the beauty that they possess inside.
Mm. And give them a sense of pride. I think is the word I'm searching for.
Yeah, to make it easier. I mean, and let the children's laughter remind us of how we used to be. Because the greatest love of okay, it is weird how we all know the words to that song, isn't it?
You know a few more than I do. Yeah,
Oh,
I reached the limits of the words I knew, but
like
I'm glad you were able to take that ball and run with it.
yeah, of course, dude. As soon as you said it, I mean, the moment anybody says, "I believe children are our future," the moment people say the word "future," I immediately think of the greatest love of all. It's my
Wow.
gift and my curse.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, no time to delve into that. We've got to get on to the first sketch of the night. And the first sketch of the night was Drug Dealer. Do we have
Mhm.
writer credits for this one?
None just yet, unfortunately.
None just yet. Everybody was like high on coke when they wrote this sketch, I'm
That's right.
assuming.
Going back to the '70s, baby.
Somebody had an interesting couple of weeks off.
Hmm.
We open up on a Club Velvet, and we got Andrew Dismukes and Devin Walker in the bathroom, and they decide they want to score some coke. So they're immediately approached by Marcelo as a drug dealer, and then Quentin as a rival drug dealer, and then Keenan as a third dealer, and then Punky as a custodian who's also selling drugs on the side, and a lot of drug dealers in this men's room. Is all I'm saying.
Right. So all these drug dealers are sort of vying to be the drug dealer these guys buy their coke off of. And of course, the guys are like, well, we just want to make sure the coke is pure.
Right.
And of course, I think Marcel says, oh, yeah, my stuff is the best. It's so white that blah, blah, blah. And it basically kind of becomes almost like a bunch of Yo Mama jokes where they're saying, no, buy my coke. My coke is so white. It goes skiing with Gwyneth Paltrow in Utah. And then the other
Right.
guy says, like, my coke is so white. Its dad sends it money for rent. Or my
Yeah.
coke is so white. It was directed by Noah Baumbach.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then
My coke is so white. It's the guy who's suing Gwyneth Paltrow for the ski accident,
exactly.
who can't do the wine tastings anymore.
Right.
Uh,
I like how like when he said when I think it was Punky who said, "Yeah, my coke is so white." It was written and directed by Noah Baumbach. Then Devin says, "Who's Noah Baumbach?" And then this music is like, "He is a poet." Like
yeah.
he got really like almost offended by
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
Baumbach's the best.
Dismukes and Devin were both very good in this sketch. I enjoyed this. I also really like the surreal touch where, like, halfway through the sketch, we have Michael Longfellow as a guy who's just camouflaged in the wall,
Yeah,
and who comes out, and he's like another drug dealer, but he's selling black tar heroin, but he can't do the so black.
Yeah,
jokes.
it's like my yeah, my heroine's so black, it's equal in any way and very well respected. Never mind, I'm not here. I did like the
Yeah,
touch of him being painted like the wall, like
yeah.
for no real reason. Actually,
And I didn't go back and look if he was like literally standing there for the entire sketch. I'd like to think he was. I kind of almost don't want to check because I don't want to spoil the illusion, but it was really funny and it was just a fun, absurd touch in the middle of the sketch. I like that.
yeah, I think somebody online was talking about like, oh, he's kind of painted up like the Gautier guy from that somebody I used to know video.
I can see that.
Yeah, but yeah, so far so good. I dug this sketch as well. It was, I mean, it is kind of like a one note sketch, but I do like the note that they're hitting, and I do like the fact that
Yeah.
like you said, like Longfellow kind of came in to break it up with the whole black tar
Yeah.
heroin
Yeah. I
thing.
think that was just what the sketch needed. It just needed a funny, absurd touch like that in the middle of it. And they didn't make too much of a meal out of that. Uh, so yeah, I really liked that. And it was like just the right length. And I liked that at the very end, they're just like, hey, there's no fentanyl in this, right?
It's like, well, yeah, I didn't say that.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I used to work at a pharmacy that and we shipped out fentanyl and
Okay,
yeah.
okay. You mean an
Yeah.
actual pharmacy when you say pharmacy, right? Not like a
It
drug
well,
house.
it was an actual pharmacy. It
Okay.
was rated by the DEA.
Oh, that's right. Oh shit.
um,
Okay. I forgot about that. All right.
business kind of took a downturn after that. And when I was updating my resume a little while ago, I looked it up and I was like, oh, look, my old bosses, they made a settlement and with the
Mm.
federal government and they were actually prosecuted. And oh wow, this is not something I know. Should I still list this on my resume? And the answer is yes.
Are they
Because if I don't, there is an awkward gap in my employment history.
are they too busy to give me a letter of recommendation right now?
Oh.
Oh, John.
Yeah. That was a fun night when I accidentally discovered that.
Wow.
And the
Wow.
really weird thing is I knew one of the lawyers.
Real Jesus. Wow, this is
Yeah.
it's just taking a
I
turn.
was like looking through the paperwork and I was like, wait a minute, I know this dude's name. I know this dude. I did a play with this dude like 10 years ago.
Oh my god.
And I wrote him and I was like, was this you? And he was like, yep. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
that's
okay.
yeah. So
Keep him busy.
yeah, that's a fun anecdote from my life.
Wow,
Yeah. So
that's got to go in your act somehow.
yeah.
Yeah. So next up, we got a pre-tape.
Next up, pre-tape, Bridesmaids cult documentary. Do we have writing credits for this one?
This one, yes. Jimmy Fowley, Allison Gates, Sierra O'Sullivan, and Will Steven.
Yay!
Mm-hmm.
So this was a fake trailer for a Netflix documentary called "I Was a Bridesmaid," and it's basically just in keeping with all these cult documentaries that we've had, like the Nexium cult that Allison Mack from Smallville was in, and all those other cults that are out there.
Right. A lot of cults.
And yeah, basically just saying that like being a bridesmaid is kind of like being in a cult because it's this big, huge commitment of like 18 months, and they they operate by guilt, and there's a money component like cults. And yeah, I really like this. I thought this was a cool sort of original observation.
Yeah, I liked it too. I think maybe the jokes maybe could have hit a little bit harder for me because like a lot of it seemed to be maybe a little too true, but there was no, I guess, like joke in there really. It just seemed
It
like
wasn't exaggerated enough for you,
yeah,
or
maybe that's it. Maybe it just needed to be like exaggerated or something a little bit more. I mean, I do like the
right.
fact that like when they interviewed one of the bridesmaids, played by Sarah Sherman, they said like the I guess the bachelorette party was going to be in like Nashville,
Right.
and she kind of got guilted into selling her car so she could afford to go.
Yeah, because and we had Bowen as the bride's man.
Yeah, the
who
outgoing
is like,
gay man.
yeah, who is, yeah, the gay friend who's, and I guess that's becoming a thing now. I haven't been to any weddings recently, but I'll take the sketch's word for it that that's a thing now.
Hmm.
And he was like, oh, as soon as the bride started calling me sis, I knew that
And he was
I knew that this was in the works. And
right.
we had Molly as the very controlling maid of honor, which was very cool. Like, when one person doesn't want to participate in one activity, Molly's character takes them aside and just lays this big guilt trip on them. And
Yeah,
yeah, no, I really like this. I thought this was cool.
yeah. I think Molly like was actually beating that person with a clipboard, but they didn't show it at some point.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So,
uh
yeah, funny stuff.
yeah, yeah. I thought it was okay. I think maybe it could have been a little more exaggerated, or the jokes a little bit harder. But yeah, I didn't write too much about it. But yeah, overall,
Well, I liked it just the way it was, Darren.
all right. I'm so now what? So now I'm in the wrong. Now it's my fault.
Yeah,
I
this is
see.
basically what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
My opinion's right, your opinion's wrong.
That's the
I mean,
SNL nerds way.
yeah, this is how this
This is
works. I mean, haven't you picked up on this over the last 4.5 years?
this is the way.
Yeah, this is the way.
Hmm.
But no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, maybe they could have pushed it a little further, but it still worked for me. What can I say?
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Next up, we got couple goals.
Couple goals, totally uncharted territory for SNL. A game show sketch.
Whoa,
Yeah, I know. Didn't see it coming.
crazy.
I mean, it's probably been what, upwards of 2 or 3 episodes since we've had a game show sketch.
Yeah. I mean, my God, it's been so long.
So this is basically like a newlywed game type of game. We have one couple that's Quinta and Keenan, and the other couple is Punky and Michael Longfellow. And boy, how to describe this one?
Well, basically, I think so. The two couples, like you said, Mikey Longfellow and Punky Johnson, they're a couple that lived across from each other during the pandemic, and then they got married. And
Mhm.
Keenan and Quinta were a couple that have been together for a long time. I
Right.
think so. One of the
And
questions,
and like the dating game, they're giving answers about their spouses, and if the answers match, then they win and they advance in the game, and everybody's happy.
right?
Uh, so like the first couple answers that Quentin and Keenan give match, and then Punky and Michael characters aren't really matching, but they're kind of cute about it. They're like, oh well, that's okay, hon. Um,
Mhm.
but it's kind of implied that they don't know each other as well, and it's just sort of mildly funny at this point. And then they
Right,
ask a question on like, what is your greatest fear? And I think Quita says, well, I've seen him in the garage, so spiders.
right.
And his and Keenan turns over his card, and it says like that you'll fall down the stairs and be disabled, and then I will have to give up my dreams to become your caregiver.
Yeah.
Which is so unusually specific of a fear, and it's so real.
Yeah, it takes that turn.
It takes that turn, and
And
um
then the rest of the game shows just kind of go back to that one fear he
yeah,
has about like I think the next question is the host played by James Austin Johnson, character name is Bob the Builder, saying like, what is one thing that you do in bed that your spouse doesn't like? And the answer Keenan gives is, that she sleeps too close to the edge
right,
because she might fall over, and and that turned out to be like a big fear of his.
right.
And then we kind of see why, because like,
The kicker for me was we find out his dad and his mom are in the audience, and we go to his dad, and we find out that he is like the caregiver for his mom.
yes, we see Devin playing the dad saying like, "You're doing great, son," and and Ego is the mom, and Ego has
Yeah,
no lines, but we see
right.
Devin slowly feeding Ego some like
Yeah,
tapioca pudding while she's in a wheelchair, and
yeah,
like
and that is such a dark twist.
it really is.
It's I was kind of in awe of they went there. I mean, I was like, wow, okay. This kind of took a while to set up and get going, but once they did, wow,
Yeah, that was
that kind of blew me away, and I didn't see that turn coming. So that was, I mean, it's always great when you can't see the turn coming in a sketch.
yeah, absolutely. I think when I looked at it on YouTube, they kept that little shot on them just long enough. But I remember seeing it live. I don't think they kept the camera on that shot of uh, Devin feeding Ego the pudding on it a little bit. They didn't keep the camera on her as long. I think they cut it a little
Oh,
bit too short before
oh,
they.
see, I didn't watch the show live, so
Ah,
I didn't see that. So
okay. But yeah, if you look on YouTube, they kept it on just enough. So,
I wonder
but
if
yeah,
they re-edited the live sketch or if they subbed the dress.
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, that was a great turn that they did there.
Yeah.
And then we see Punky and Longfellow. I mean, their sort of B plotline is kind of like they don't get any of the answers right throughout this whole
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, we didn't really need. I mean, they got more development than their characters needed, but you want to give the other actors in the sketch something to do, I guess.
Right.
So,
But then, I mean, for me, the kicker was the very last question they asked, where the host says, "All right, so what's the one place your spouse has always wanted to go?" And I think Quinta says, "Oh, he's always talked about going to Aruba." And
mhm.
then Keenan says, "Yes, that's right, Aruba." But there's an asterisk next to it.
Yes, and then he pulls up other cards, and it's this whole elaborate scenario where, in the same reality where his wife is severely injured,
Right.
he bonds with her sister, and
Yeah.
they,
In Big
they
Sur.
yeah, and Big Sur, and he talks about how they have like a simultaneous orgasm in
Yes,
the middle of the redwoods.
they climax together.
Yeah,
I didn't expect to
yeah,
hear the word climax like that in a. I was like, wow, all right.
yeah, and it's not just the physicality of it; it's the release of all their tension from the last several years, and he gets very specific. He has put some thought into this.
Yes, he's he's been thinking about this for way longer than his wife realizes.
Yeah, I mean it is the creepiest card flipping over scene since Love Actually, I would say.
Oh yes, right
Um,
up there.
yeah, and I
And
mean,
yeah,
yeah, that was pretty great. And then, but they win the game because the other couple keeps giving wrong answers, and they win a trip to Bally's Temple of 1,000 Steps.
yes, they go to Bali, and of course Keenan's like, no.
Yeah. Very funny stuff. I really like this one.
Yeah, great sketch. I really got a kick out of this one too. It's just it's one of those things where I didn't quite know where it's going, but once I got the game and the
Yeah,
way it built up, it was pretty damn enjoyable. I got a kick out of this one.
yeah. This was good. Really strong. I mean, if do all the game show sketches you want as long as they're this strong. I say.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like
And
I'm not
SNL
against
won't
Gamesco.
We're
Yeah,
taking you at your word, John.
yeah.
More game show sketches.
That's it. An entire episode full of nothing but game show sketches. Oops, all game show sketches.
That might be kind of funny, actually.
That I might lose my mind in the first 30 minutes, but let's find out. Let's see.
Yeah. Let's find out. Yeah, why not? Let's try it. What the hell?
Okay.
Did
Uh,
we give writer credits for this one?
I wasn't able to find any for this one,
How
unfortunately.
dare you?
I'm
How dare you, sir?
I'm just one man. I'm trying.
Us raving about the turn and all, and we don't even have writer credits. Well, I'm just gonna pretend it was the same people who wrote the cocaine sketch. Yeah, let's say
Sure.
that.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah. So great job,
Great,
cocaine writers.
great job, cocaine writers.
Yes. Next we have traffic altercation
Now
with.
this, yes, this one we do have writer credit for.
I don't want him for this one.
Oh Jesus. Good. Wow. Good
Oh, go
heavens.
ahead. Go ahead.
Mikey Day, Streeter Seidel with an assist from Vanessa Jackson.
Oh, okay. Well, not a shock. I mean, I could have told you the Mikey and Streeter thing. I didn't, but I could have.
Yeah.
And as you might suspect, it stars Mikey Day and with Chloe Feynman playing his daughter. They're stuck in a traffic jam on a highway, and in the next car over, Quinta Brunson has just cut them off, and Mikey's rather upset about it. So
Yes.
he starts signaling to the driver who's now next to him, and they're just doing hand signals to each other because neither one of them wants to like roll down their windows and actually talk to the person.
Right. So they have to like mime their anger at each other, like
Right.
hey you bad person. And but I mean, the one thing I really liked about the sketch is the cinematography. They do some really cool camera angles here
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, I guess with a sketch like this, you can't really do it like on a like on a stage, like a old school sketch style. So you got to
Well, they
find a
did it on the stage, Darren.
well, I mean, they did, but like you know what I mean. Like it's not like
No, I don't. I really don't.
I'm trying to
What are
explain
you
it.
saying?
It's not like I guess maybe theatrical or whatever. So you
Uh-huh.
have to have like the camera angle. Like one camera like shoots right into
Right. They're
Mikey's
shooting
car.
into each car, even though the cars, as we see in the setup, they're side by side.
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah, and then at the very end of the sketch, they did a pull away, and we see like both of them, the cars and the green screen behind them, and then we see both of the cue card people. So that that was neat to see. And then of course we have to have like two camera people who are shooting each on either side. So
Right.
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, it's basically like the two of them miming to each other. I think at one point, Quinta says, "Why don't you roll down your window and talk to me?" Like, and she does
Right.
the, the circle crank.
The roll
Tip.
gesture, the universal roll down the window gesture. And Mikey very rightly points out we don't really have those types of windows anymore. It's just you press a button.
Yeah,
And
and
and Quinta very reasonably responds, "Well, yeah, but if I just did that, that's not a big enough gesture. You wouldn't know what I was doing."
it wouldn't
And
read. It doesn't
yeah,
read.
it doesn't really. Both of these people would be excellent at charades, by the way. They have extremely well thought out signals to each other.
Yeah, and I like how the escalation in this one,
Mhm.
like when Quinta
Oh,
called.
you love the escalation.
I love me some escalation. Like when Quinta,
Aaron's a sucker for some escalation,
I love
ladies
it.
and
Escalation all day. Oops, all escalation.
gentlemen.
Um, man, I love it when Quinta calls Mikey like you are a little, and she did the little
Mhm.
hand finger with a hand. You are a little bitch, and she points to Chloe, who's Mikey's daughter in the sketch, and
Right.
like as the bitch, and then she's like, "No, you suck," and then Chloe does like some weird
It's
hand
a
gesture.
very odd suck gesture. And
Yeah, it's like a
I'm
two.
wondering if part of that is they didn't want like too graphic of a mind blow job, I guess.
Yeah, I get it, but it looks like she's like working a pepper grinder or
Yeah,
something.
she's kind of like she's got both of her hands up and she's kind of twisting both of her hands. And I love that Mikey is just turns to her and he says, "Okay, like first of all, I don't love that you use two hands." I just love that his dadness comes out. Yeah, that was very funny. And then as the sketch goes on, he and Quinta Brunson seem to bond a little bit more, and finally he like sort of asks if she wants to grab a bite to eat, and she's like, "Yeah, why don't we get together and you eat my ass?" Which is
Yeah.
like a callback to something she said earlier.
Yeah, and then it turns out also that Ego is Quinta's mom in the sketch, and she pops out the back seat calling him White Devil.
Yes, yeah, and then
Uh,
they have to explain that that's not a racial thing.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, I like this sketch quite a bit. I thought it was pretty funny. This one here.
I enjoyed it too. It wasn't a typical sort of thing we see on SNL. It was different from the norm, and I always like that, or I usually like that. I occasionally like that. Rarely I like that. Um,
Wow.
but here I thought it worked.
Yeah, yeah, I thought this one worked. I do like that they're, trying different things and kind of, really, really exploring the space and really
They
just,
went. They did. They really explored the space.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't know. Yeah, I really got a kick out of this one. I thought this is a solid, solid sketch from the SNL
Yeah.
people. Okay. Yeah.
Does
So
anyone else find Gene's cowbell playing distracting? If it's just me, I'll be quiet.
I'm so glad you got that explore the space reference because
Yeah.
not enough people, I think, say that when they reference the cowbell sketch.
They don't. They don't. They really should quote the explore the space
Yeah,
line
I
more.
don't know. Yeah, I think that for me that line's funnier than I got to have more cowbell. Like, yeah, really explore the space.
I don't know if I would go that far.
It's up there. It's up there.
It's up there. I'm not saying it's funnier than I could really use some more cowbell,
Yeah,
but
I got a fever. The only prescription. More cowbell.
Christopher Walken. I'd
Oh,
love him to come back.
yeah.
Love for him
Oh,
to come back.
please.
Anyway, next we have our musical guest for the week. It's a Little Yachty. I think when we discussed Little Yachty last week, we neither one of us was especially familiar with Little Yachty, right?
I was somewhat familiar with him. Like, I knew him as one of the guys. He came out like a couple years ago, as you know, with this like other this kind of wave of sort of SoundCloud mumblecore rappers
Mm-hmm.
that like kind of talk about doing Molly and Percocet and have multicolored hair and kind of mumble their rap
So
lyrics.
you really related to it. It hit you where you live.
Oh
Is what
my
you're
god!
saying.
I mean, forget about it. You know me. I'm just all about drinking cough syrup
All
and
about the Molly.
yes, just
Yeah.
partying and mumbling raps into a microphone with my rainbow colored hair. You know how I do.
Yeah. No,
That's just
I
that's
know.
just that's
Oh,
just a
I know
Tuesday
how
for
you
me.
do. I know it's. Let me just tell you, folks, it's so difficult to get Darren to come down for the podcast. Because he's he's high on life and
Yes,
Molly,
absolutely, as you
and
do.
mostly the Molly.
Yes. Oh, I'm flying right now.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, Little Yachty. He had two performances. Black Seminole and
hmm
Drive Me Crazy, both with singer Diana Gordon.
and Drive Me Crazy, not the Britney Spears song.
Right. Or the Fine Young Cannibals.
No,
That
it
She
was neither
Drives
one
Me.
of those songs.
That's right. That
I
She
kind of
Drives
wish it
Me.
was one of those songs.
She
Uh,
drives me crazy.
you drive me crazy.
And
Da,
it
da, da, da. I don't know the lyrics to that song.
yeah, me neither. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that you knew that much.
I vaguely remember the tune. Well, look, you put a video with like late 1990s Britney Spears and what's her name, Sabrina the Teenage Witch in
Oh,
it together.
Melissa Joan Hart.
Melissa Joan Hart, that's the one. You put a video with the two of them in together. I'm gonna at least watch the video,
Hey now, hey nanny
you
nanny.
know. And I may not mute the television. I'll be like, oh, let's give this a shot. Let's see
Yeah,
how this goes.
let's
And
let's see what this kid's all about.
it's got the entourage guy before he did Entourage because
Oh
he was in the
yeah,
movie.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Wow.
Yeah, it was a Melissa Joan Hart vehicle with Adrian Grenier. Is that his name?
Yeah, I think I saw
Adrian
this.
something.
I think I saw this from my college newspaper. Then I'm thinking about it.
Oh, you reviewed everything for that college newspaper. Good
I
lord.
was. It was.
We
It
need to
was.
like publish an omnibus of all your college newspaper reviews.
Yes. Oh my God. I had an illustrious career back in the day.
Yes.
Very. I was something else.
So anyway, I didn't take too many notes on Little Yachty. Here is the extent of my notes for number one, the Seminole number. I wrote sounds very auto tuned,
It is.
and then a few minutes later, I wrote nope, don't like this. And
Yeah.
for his second number, I wrote really big hat.
Yeah. On the second one, he had that big like "Where the Wild Things Are" hat, where it looks like it
Yeah,
just.
a big old furry hat. I mean, hardly a head inside this hat. That's how big this hat was. You may be picturing just like a commonly big hat. This was a comically large hat.
It looked
This
like a.
was like as wide as his shoulders.
Yeah. It looks like a bear sleeping on his head.
Yeah, it looked like he stuck his head up some animal.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I didn't write too many notes for this too, because I knew Little Yachty as this mumblecore rapper, but then
yeah,
I had heard that with this new album he came out with, he was like kind of taking more artistic risks and trying to get out of that mumblecore box, and he was like, oh, this album has more of like a psychedelic rock type of vibe to it, and I was like, whatever. But then I heard that Questlove from one of my favorite groups, The Roots, was actually praising this album and saying, yeah, like he's really kind of
oh yeah,
like,
you mentioned that last week, I believe.
yeah, like he was like, oh yeah, this album's really interesting and amazing. He's really doing different things, and I was like, well, if it's good enough for Questlove, then I should give it a listen. Like
Right.
that cosign was enough for me to be like, all right, I'll see what he's about. And yeah, this performance they're okay. Like I mean, I do see
Didn't do anything for me.
I do see he's trying to do something different, and but it's still like kind of auto tune singing, which I mean I don't know
Yeah.
auto tune. I guess I
Yeah,
have a
I don't
love
care
hate
for the
thing with
auto
it.
tune.
Yeah, I mean, it has
Yeah,
its places. I mean, Peter Frampton used auto tune, so I can't totally hate it, but it's still like kind of all right. But I don't know. I was actually more impressed with the singer than I was with him.
she had a good
Diane.
voice. I mean, she was I like at the end of I think it was their first number. She like held that note for a really long time, and I was like, oh, that's a nice way to go out.
Yeah, like the first song she has this like solo. It almost kind of reminded me of what's that song? The Great Gig in the Sky, the Pink Floyd song of Dark Side of the Moon. I was like, oh wow, that's actually really nice and pretty. I mean, and the band was great. So I did like some of these performances, but maybe not so much for Little Yachty. But everybody
Yeah,
else around Little Yachty, I did like.
the
I'll say
people
that.
that Little Yachty gathered around him,
Yes,
you enjoyed, just not so much of the Little Yachty.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I'll say that Little Yachty did a smart thing and surrounded themselves with a strong band and a strong singer.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, but he himself is like, okay, well, I mean, you're trying. I'll give you
This
that.
this was just yeah. I'll give him his participation trophy, but just not for
Yes,
me.
yes, gold star. I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, we got to talk about what happened on Weekend Update with
Uh,
Colin Jost, Michael Che.
with Colin Jost and Michael Che.
Michael Che.
Um, yeah, it started off. I was like, I'm watching. It just tells a series of jokes about the whole Trump indictment because that was like the top story of the week. And honestly, I didn't feel like they were the strongest jokes, but he was getting like a really tepid response. I
Yeah,
was like, oh man, this audience isn't really digging him. It's, but I was just like, oh well, Colin's having an off week. It's a few years ago, I would have been like, well, this is why Colin Jost needs to be off Weekend Update. Cancel Jost hashtag. Um, I'd actually put the hashtag before the cancel Jost part, but but then yeah, why don't you explain the rest?
okay, so basically, yeah, like Colin Jost comes out with some jokes that aren't the strongest, but they're still all right. Like talking about Trump's lawyer, whose name is Joe Tacopina, but he's positive Trump calls him Joe Tapioca.
Yeah,
Not the best, not the best response he's
and
getting.
that was one of the stronger jokes I thought. Honestly,
Joe Tapioca.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
um,
but yeah, and then it cuts to Che. He tells some jokes about how Trump is up on 34 counts of business fraud, and business fraud is the name of of Trump's costume at Spirit Halloween.
yeah.
Huge round of applause from the
I
audience.
again, I think that's a much stronger joke,
Yeah,
but
it is.
yeah, it was a noticeably difference, a noticeable difference in the applause and the laughter, and then like I think that after another joke or two, Jay just fesses up and he says, "I told them not to laugh at you for April Fools."
Yeah, all right. So this is what I heard happened off the SNL network. So
Uh huh.
basically, Che was doing the warm up
Right,
for
as he usually does.
yeah, and when he was doing the warm up, he told the audience, "Hey, I want to do this big April Fool's joke on Jost at the start of Weekend Update when he does his jokes. Don't laugh at anything he says. Laugh
Right,
at everything I say. Like, give him nothing, give me everything."
which is genius. That is that's just so epic, and that was so funny, and I did not see it coming, and oh my god, and he totally got Colin.
Yeah.
uh,
So yeah,
and
and
I'm
that
assuming that this did not happen during the dress. If it
no,
did happen, what's that?
no, it didn't. It didn't. I think
Yeah,
from what I've heard, I think somebody was at dressed, and I think they told John
because
Schneider or
Colin's reactions just seemed too real.
it was
uh,
very real. Yeah, like
yeah,
I think
yeah,
they
and
said,
he
yeah, I think it said like at dress rehearsal. I think it went okay, but not great. And then
right,
Che told the audience, "Hey, don't laugh at anything he says."
right.
And like, yeah, and then that's what happened. Like they didn't laugh at it. There was a little laughter, but not definitely not a lot. Definitely not more
Yeah,
than what
yeah.
Che
I
was
I
getting.
actually saw on YouTube. Let me see if I can find this comment. Um, but somebody said that they were in the audience for it, and they were like, it's kind of even watching it on video. Uh, you don't get a sense of how few people were laughing at Colin's jokes. It was like literally like 10 people in the audience, they were saying.
Wow.
So it was really brutal.
Yeah. And then at one point, like after Colin tells one of his jokes to get no response, somebody screams out, "You stink!" And from what I've heard, that was actually John Higgins from the Please Don't Destroy crew.
Really?
That's what I
Oh,
heard.
okay. All right. I
Yeah.
think that was the bit I didn't quite make out. I was like, I heard something and I thought it was something that Che was saying, but and I even put the captions on YouTube. But
Yeah, somebody
wow,
said, "You stink," which I'm sure Jost wasn't pleased to hear that. And then
right.
that's when Che was like, "Yeah, I told everybody not to laugh."
You don't expect to hear that like when you've been doing update for as long as
Yeah,
those two have been doing it.
that's like your worst nightmare coming true. It's like, "Oh my god, they
Yeah.
figured out I'm a fraud."
Like maybe in the early days you could imagine that happening when he had a rough time of it at the beginning, but
Oh yes,
this was wow.
this
This was
was
and
wow.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
One of the other YouTube comments, I just have to read this because I absolutely love it, and I'm scrolling, and of course I've lost it. Hang on, let me just scroll up. So I
okay.
want to make sure. Oh, okay. Here's the comment I was talking about before. I was in the audience, and this clip doesn't accurately show how quiet the crowd was during Colin jokes. Literally, 10 people laughed at Colin, while the whole crowd erupted for Che, which that's genius. And another person says, every time I feel bad for Colin Jost, I remember who he gets to go home to every night, and it passes.
Fair enough.
And I mean, and Jost took it so well, and I and he was like, I was sweating. I was like, I was
Yeah.
shaking. And yeah, it really got him. And he's legit says to Che, that is the meanest thing you've ever done to me.
Yeah, probably.
Which, when you think about it, of all the mean things that Che has done to Jost on air and in life, I'm sure, that
Yeah.
is really saying something.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god, what a moment. I love that
Yeah.
they did. It's like one of those moments that's like really kind of, encapsulates just live television and
Yeah.
just
I mean,
creating
those are
something.
the moments you hope for when you're watching SNL, a real genuine spontaneous moment.
Right. Yeah, because like,
And
sometimes SNL can fall into the rut of just doing the same old
right.
rigmarole. So when you have something like this, like something
Yeah.
like a genuine moment where you see a
Mhm.
genuine reaction from Jost about getting played like
Right.
that, and
And you see, yeah, who he genuinely is as a person. And yeah, he's obviously good at laughing at himself, and and that's kind of why they bust his chops so much.
yeah.
And he took it very good naturedly. He was like, was I not mic'd, or yeah, that was great.
Yeah, this was fantastic. I mean, guys, you got to go online and look at it on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that again on YouTube because it
It
was
is,
it was wow. It was epic. It was so funny. Didn't see it coming. Thought he just had a bum crowd, but yeah, and that's the best kind of practical joke where the person takes it well and nobody's like really hurt. And
yeah, but still,
yeah,
this almost derailed the whole weekend update. Like,
well,
after
I
something like
kind of
this,
did because it took just a while to recover, so it just
yeah, he was,
it was so real.
yeah, he was
But
shaking.
we did have more to weekend update. We had Michael Longfellow as Michelangelo's David, because that was in the news this week because there was like some parents who were outraged that this was shown in one of their kids' classes.
Oh god.
Because it's a classical statue, and of course it's he's nude, and so we're worried about kids seeing a fake penis carved out of stone. This is where we are right now.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Oh, we're so dumb. We are so
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, guns are cool, but a stone penis?
yeah,
No,
oh
not
God forbid. We must protect the children from that.
yes, not my America.
Um, yeah, and I like the opening gag where Michael is turned away from Che, and Che says like, "Hey, can you turn your head?" And he's like, "Well, let me try." Oh, hey, what do you know? I can. um, and yeah, the whole thing is basically just teasing of him getting up to tease showing the stone penis, and they actually sculpted some fake statue pubes for him.
Yeah,
I don't know how
statues.
else to phrase it. They're
That's
statue
good.
pubes.
Yeah, statues.
Stat, stat, say it again. I can't pronounce that word that you just made up.
Statues.
Statubes. Statubes.
Hashtag statues. Let's get it trending, people.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the line that I really liked was towards the end of his monologue. He said, "Did you know that in the Italian version of SNL you can show full penetration?"
You're like, what? So yeah, our Matt Foley lived in a man down by the river.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That was great. This was funny. It was so absurd. I was kind of surprised that it was Michael Longfellow instead of Bowen because it seemed like the type of character that Bowen usually plays an update. But I was very happy to see Michael Longfellow get something to do.
Yeah, that does make sense. I mean, it seems like Michael Longfellow has kind of carved himself a little niche with these weekend update death segments. Where I mean,
Carved. I see what you did there.
because like I think this might be like his 5th time doing a weekend update segment.
That many? Okay. All right.
There was like I
Well,
think 2 by himself, but then he came back
yeah.
as like the groundhog. Then he did one as Dilbert, and now he's
Oh,
doing
right.
this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's true. Good point. Yeah. I like that he's doing more characters. I like that it wasn't just another segment that was obviously from a stand-up act.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I like that. And then we had another death segment. This is another one of our newer cast members, Marcelo Hernandez,
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Short King Spring, which I didn't know was a thing.
I did not know either, but then again, I'm 5'10", so I wouldn't know about what the short people doing out there, bruh.
I'm 6'2", so I mean I don't want to
Yeah,
brag, but
yeah,
I'm 6'2".
living out here, living my tall life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And yeah, he's basically just talking about how it's hard out there for a short person,
Right.
and
Yeah,
and also making fun of Colin because that's what we do on Update now.
that's what we do. And like the whole time he's talking to Colin, and Colin's like, "Yeah, I'm 6 foot,"
Right.
and apparently it's like a thing where guys tell their how tall they are, but whatever a guy tells you how tall he is, it's actually an inch or 2 shorter than that. So
Guys love adding inches to things.
Just look at my old. No, never mind. Forget. I won't say.
Yeah, let's not finish that sentence.
Yeah, let's just walk that right on back.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's just Marcelo. I mean, it's just all Marcelo's energy selling this thing, basically, about like how short people. We've been here forever, and we need to be proud of our shortness. We have short people like Prince and Bruno Mars and
Right.
The Minions.
Short, it's in the name.
Yes, exactly. And let's talk about the tall people like Osama bin Laden and Slender Man and Army Hammer is 7'3".
Yeah.
I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah, and then Colin, of course, corrects him, says he's not 7'3", and he's like, well, of course because you're friends with him. And he's like, no, I'm not friends. We're friendly.
That was a nice little thing they threw in there for that.
Yeah, that was cool.
And like, I think at one point when Colin says, "Yeah, no, I'm 6 foot," and Marcel's like, "Yeah, you're a tower."
Yeah. So, fun stuff. A little stand-up-y, but I didn't mind it too much.
Yeah, I find Marcelo enjoyable, and his energy is infectious. So, yeah, I dug this. Overall, this weekend update I thought was pretty damn strong.
I mean, the April Fool's joke alone, it's one for the record books. This is going to be one of the weekend update moments that people remember of Jost and Shay's tenure, and deservedly so, I think. I mean, we are going to see that clip in best of packages and anniversary shows.
Right. I mean, I don't think anybody knows if they're definitely coming back next season, but I mean, if this is the season where they bounce, like this is a great note to
going out on a high.
Going out on the high, baby. Cocaine high.
Cocaine high.
So
watermelon sugar high.
Yeah, cocaine.
Which I think is somewhat less than a cocaine high, from what I understand.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Cocaine so white and pure. It's like this
it's
is
like
my last reason.
Of the SNL Nerds podcast.
Ah, nice. Love it. Love it. All right, next sketch. We got Midwife.
I was talking about Darren.
What? Oh.
Just saying.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Dude, you're into Weezer. I mean, come on.
Whatever, bro. Weezer rocks. Come on. Beverly Hills.
Let the record show I am far, far, far wider than Darren.
Yes, exactly.
And Darren's pretty white.
Like a glass of milk.
Yep.
Like almond milk.
He's almond milk, I'm 2%. And that's the chemistry that makes this show work.
So Midwife.
Midwife, the next sketch on the show.
Written by Jimmy Fowley, Bone Yang, Celeste Yim.
Every time you say Jimmy Fowley, I keep expecting you to say Jimmy Fallon. And I'm like, what? He's writing for the show?
Yeah, things aren't going great over his show, so he has his second gig. It's a side gig.
That would be kind of hilarious if Jimmy Fallon had to moonlight.
Oh, hey, can I be a writer on SNL? That'd be great.
Hey, guys. Oh my God.
I got a great sketch idea. This would be great.
So it starts out, we got Heidi in labor. Quinta is the doctor delivering, and then Bowen comes in as Barry, the midwife. And Quinta says, "Nice to meet you." And Bowen's like, "Oh, actually, we've met before, like 3 years ago."
Yes, at Danielle's barbecue before a Macklemore concert.
Right. And then Quinta's like, "Oh, so we met 10 years ago in 2012 because Macklemore was still a thing."
Yeah. Oh, poor Macklemore.
This is like the second time we brought up Macklemore in this episode, isn't it?
Is it? Oh.
Didn't you bring... No, wait. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of when you were referencing somebody I used to know. That was...
it's Gautier.
Gautier. I was mixing up Gautier and Macklemore, and how dare I?
Yes.
How dare I?
I mean, come on. Macklemore had like 3 hits.
Okay.
Gautier had the 1.
Right.
So I don't. This sketch was so weird. I don't even know how to begin.
It is a weird. This is a very tough one to describe. So, like, they met in 2012, and Quinta doesn't remember it, but they kind of met in passing. And Bowen's character is very offended. And then we flash forward to 3 years later, delivering another baby. This time it's Chloe having the baby.
Yeah,
and
Barry comes in. His hair's longer.
Yes. And this time she remembers him from last time, but Barry pretends that he doesn't remember her because he's still offended and bent out of shape over her not remembering him 3 years ago. Then we flash back to 14 years earlier, which was their first meeting at the barbecue, and we see a pregnant Sarah there.
Yeah, that's Danielle's barbecue. They're talking about the Macklemore concert. And then Bowen comes in with a short haircut saying, "Oh, hey, I'm Barry. How are you?" And I think he compliments Quinta's hair, saying, "Oh, I always want to wear my hair long." And Quinta says, like, "Wait, no, you shouldn't, because then I wouldn't be able to recognize you."
Right.
And and then they all
flash forward to 17 years from then, so it's another 3 years into the future. And this time when Barry comes in with really, really long hair,
like down to his knees,
he keeps coming back in longer and longer wigs. He admits that he was pretending not to remember her the last time because he was offended. And wow, this was a journey.
It really was. Like, part of me, when it first started, I was afraid it would be like another Garrett from Hinge, like that, where it'd just be like Bowen doing this odd character in this odd voice and then not really going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But then the fact that they switched it up with the time jumps, that definitely like helped it out a bit. I thought. And like the fact that like his hair length kept changing, the fact that at the end of each of the segments there's like, "Oh, well, while you were gaslighting me, I was delivering this baby." And he just he just pulls out a baby already wrapped
bundle.
Yeah, and even at the barbecue he picks up a baby off the ground at the end of that.
And even by fake baby standards, these are really fake looking babies.
These are pretty fake babies.
And then when they do the last flash forward, Heidi is back as the mother. She's having her second child, and then her husband comes in with their daughter, who is the child who was delivered in the opening minutes of the sketch.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed that they gave the kid a big line at the end of the sketch, the kid playing Kayla, and that had to be like pretty late in the evening, like well past midnight.
Yeah, no, they had to keep
And
that kid up way late.
yeah, yeah, it's always interesting when they have like genuine children in the SNL sketches, but they don't usually have a kid like delivering a line towards the end of the sketch, which the end of the sketch kind of rests on. I was like kind of impressed that they uh, trusted that kid to do it. I mean, it was a simple line and all that, but I was still like, wow.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely.
So
Yeah, I mean, this gave me strong 10-to-1 vibes. It's such a weird sketch, but it was
yeah,
weird in the ways I like. I
it
guess
was
I'd say.
weird for the sake of being weird, which I kind of like.
Yeah, see, I was
That's
yeah,
fun.
yeah, because part of me when I was watching this, I was like, oh, I don't know if John's gonna like this one. So, like, to hear that you did
Was that a
enjoy it.
thought that ran through your head? You
I
actually had concern that I wouldn't like a sketch?
Well, yeah, no, just because like I know like some of the really oddball, offbeat sketches you can,
Right.
you can either go one way or another with. Like I know, like sketches that are
That's true.
too
Yeah.
weird, like the Kyle Mooney sketches or like sketches that have like an Eric
Those could be hit
Andre.
and miss for me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know. I was like, I'm not sure if John will like this one. He might, but I don't know. It's like pretty weird. So to hear that you liked it, it's a
I just
surprise.
think it's funny that that was running through your head while you were watching the show.
Yes, you're always on my mind, John.
I know. I'm not sure if I had that thought of like, gee, I wonder what Darren will think of this sketch.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I've ever thought that. Maybe I have, but I can't recall any times offhand. But
Oh, okay. So I think of you more than you think of me. Okay, no,
yeah,
that's
that's
fine.
basically what I'm saying. That's
Okay,
basically
no,
what I'm
that's fine.
saying.
That's fine. That's
Hmm.
fine. I'm fine. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fine. Hmm. But yeah,
Um.
overall, I like the sketch. It was
Yeah.
weird and it was definitely weird and just off
And weird.
and weird, but it was
And weird.
and weird, but
Yeah.
it wasn't it was the good type of weird,
It was a fun weird. Yeah.
a good fun weird. I'll say that.
Yes. Yes. Did we give the writing credits for this one? I can't remember.
Yes, Jimmy Fowley, not Jimmy Fallon, uh,
Okay. Yes.
Bowen Yang and Celestia.
They bore repeating. Um,
Exactly.
and then next we have, but I guess it was the real 10-to-1 sketch, Bosses,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which we have Chloe in there in the office, and she's got a couple coworkers. It was Bowen, and was it Devin? Was the other one?
It was Molly.
It was Molly.
Yep.
Wow, I really called that one wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't take any notes for this one. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, I could take the helm on this one. So yeah,
yeah, yeah,
so this one is it's Chloe plays a new worker at this office, and she really likes everybody. She's talking to Bowen and Molly, and saying, "Yeah, I like working here, but the boss, he seems to be very weird around me and odd,
yeah.
and says odd things around me." And the other guy's like, "I
Right.
don't know what you're talking about. The boss
And
is
Bowen
great."
and Molly are like, really? He's always
Yeah.
been super nice to us. And then Sarah comes out as the boss and just immediately starts making all the comments about Chloe's boobs.
Yeah, like he's super nice to Bowen's character, he's super nice to Molly, and yeah, when Sarah talks to Chloe, he's talking, it's like, oh, look at them boob, like almost like cartoonishly goofy about the
Cartoonish sexual harassment. Yeah.
yeah, like oh, setting off penis alarms, awooga, haba haba haba,
Yeah.
that type
Yeah.
of thing, and
And it's
yeah,
really it, what I kind of admire about the sketch is it would be super creepier if a guy had been playing that part, but
yes,
Sarah in drag playing it really kind of took the sting out of it. It took on any possible sort of offensiveness, or it might be a little creepy and a little weird, like
yeah,
somebody was really sexually harassing Chloe, and
right, no,
and we kind of didn't do that, which was nice.
yeah, like this, I was thinking the exact same thing. Like this sketch could have kind of crossed that line where it's like, oh, this is inappropriate and awkward. But
Right.
like the fact that Sarah and Quinta, who comes in later as another
Yes,
boss,
because we got to write the host in.
right,
Yes.
and that they both come in mustaches and balding, receding
Hmm.
hairline, but they play it not as like some lecherous type of leech, but they play it almost like those Tex Avery cartoons where the wolf gets all horned up seeing the redhead. like
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
like
Red Hot Riding Hood. Yeah,
yes, it's almost like awooga, haba haba haba, honka honka, like that, like big old
it's
baby, like
very
that.
cartoony. Yeah,
Yeah, so they played up really big and really cartoony, so it could be as
yeah,
far away from offensive as possible. And,
yes,
and then it even gets to the point where at one point they're actually playing like bongos on Chloe's chest at one point, and,
right.
and they come in as like the Penis Brothers with specially made jackets that say Penis Brothers on the back. Wow,
Yeah,
wow, 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 wow. And of course at the end, uh, they get an email from corporate saying that they're fired. Yeah, this sketch. What do you think, John?
no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was, it was fun. It was weird. Like I said, the fact that they had the bosses played by women in drag, I think that really took any potential creep factor out of it. So
Right.
I thought that worked well.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, and yeah, and then we wrap it up with a "Please Don't Destroy" sketch, another PDD sketch. This is boys are on a roll here.
It's yeah, kind of unusual to see them at the very end of the show, but yeah. So they were in the sketch. It's called Street Eats, where there are three
Right.
guys going around New York and they're trying to get some of the wide varieties of ethnic food available in New York City.
Yeah, so basically, I did like that one joke they talk about like how New York City, it's home to like so many different all different types of nationalities, and then they put Mexicans, Italians, and college students.
I also love that later in the sketch they just mispronounce the word bodega.
Yes,
I think they call them bodegas or something
Badaga.
like that.
Yeah, I mean this sketch is basically kind of them ripping on trust fund kids and cultural vultures who are just so obsessed with the real New York, the real authentic New York food that they kind of come
Right.
off corny. I like the fact that their names are Rocco, Tabby Cat, and Donald Trump. Of
Hmm.
course, it's like, yeah, I know, and like they moved here for college and they've been here ever since, except for COVID.
Right. Right.
I also like the fact that one of the places they go to is my hometown of Jamaica, Queens, for real, authentic Jamaican food. And it's just them going into like this place full of predominantly black people. It's like, "What's up, New York?" And then, of
Yeah.
course, everybody just looking at them all annoyed. I like how I think Ben he looks at a guy eating rice and he's like, "Oh, rice, the thinking man's chips."
Yeah.
Such a
Was
bizarre
this a
thing to say.
genuine Jamaica Queens reaction that they got? Do you
Yeah, I
say, Darren, as
I
a former native of Jamaica Queens?
Yeah, I would say so. This is pretty much what you're going to get when you're just walking in and screaming, "What up, New York?" and wanting to get some authentic, real Jamaican jerk
Jerk
chicken, but
chicken.
without the spices.
Right. No cumin,
Yeah,
no what was the second spice? I'm forgetting.
like cumin, paprika, salt, pepper. It's like, nope, can't
Yeah.
do that. And I like also the point that so Quinta Brunson is the woman behind the counters, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're like, Jamaican," and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm Jamaican," and them not understanding how she can be Jamaican but not talk with a Jamaican accent. He's like, "Yeah, but
Right.
no, you talk like we talk. How can you
Right.
be?"
And I enjoyed the turn later in the sketch where she's like, I would have gotten more in their face, but I saw the YouTube comments on their posts, and nobody deserves that.
Yeah, I think at one point they show the comments. One of them is just like like a lot of the words are blurred out, but one of the comments is totally blurred out. And I was like, God, what did
Right.
he say? And then of course they go to a bodega, and it's like, oh, you gotta order your food like a real New Yorker, and be like, hey, oh, give me a bagel with cream cheese here, right? And of course they get into a fight with Marcelo, who plays a construction worker, and some other construction workers. Of course, it ends with Higgins, Rocco, talking about how his dad's a lawyer. He's gonna sue everybody. I got a kick out of this one. I liked it.
Mhm.
As a
I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was the strongest "Please Don't Destroy" sketch, but it was fine.
yeah, I think I maybe liked it just because, yeah, I always like seeing people take the piss out of transplants and trust
Yeah.
fund kids and culture vultures. It's
Yeah,
you know,
I thought it was basically just cute, but not their best.
yeah, fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, overall, I dug it. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's the episode, guys. A pretty strong episode, I'd say.
Pretty great episode overall. Really long good nights. I mean, I didn't watch this live, but the good nights went on for quite some time on Peacock. So I was like, did this episode come up short or something? I don't know. Did you notice that when you watched it live?
It went a little long. For whatever reason, when I watched it live, it cut it off, like as
Yeah,
Quinta was
which
talking.
is not uncommon with the good nights.
Yeah, you
And they
gotta
usually
wrap.
try to keep those down to like I think 10 seconds or so anyway. But
Yeah, no, you gotta wrap her up.
right, right.
Um, but yeah, overall, pretty strong episode. I like Quinta. She was pretty much like another cast member in this episode. I thought she really
Very
folded into the
versatile. They had a lot of impressive wigs on her. I was very impressed with the wig
mm.
game tonight.
What game was
Other-
strong.
Wig game was strong. Yeah, she blended in with the cast really well. No sketches I really disliked. Some
Yeah,
a little weaker than others, but it's been quite a while since there's been an SNL episode where I haven't disliked anything.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought probably strongest of the season so far. I would say.
Mm. I mean, I'd have to go back and you might be right. Like I know a lot of people really like
Again,
the
I am always right, Darren.
You Are. Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, so great one. I mean, I know a lot of people really like the Chappelle episode and the Kiki Palmer episode. People like, but I would definitely say this is up there with them. It might be better. I mean, just
No,
for
it is
the
better. Those people are
oh,
wrong.
okay, I see. All right, apologies. You are correct. You are correct, sir. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
strong
yes,
episode.
that's why you're white.
Oh
You
God.
you have an Ed McMahon impression in your back pocket.
Hey, you are a winner,
It's a pretty good Ed McMahon too.
right? Thank you.
That might be the whitest thing about you.
I'm sure there's whiter.
There could be. Yeah, write in. Let us know. What do you think is the whitest thing about Darren?
Yes, please let me know.
I mean, besides the fact that he does this podcast with me.
Yes.
Uh,
But yeah, strong episode. I enjoyed this one. Like I thought the cold open was the weakest part of it, but everything
yeah,
else either I liked.
yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed. Let's
But
see what the people thought.
yeah, what did you think, Twitter folks? What
Yeah,
did
let's
you
see.
think?
Let's see. Our friend Mikey with two E's, the extra E stands for England,
Mhm.
says pretty good overall. Thought the cold open went a bit long, but Quinta's monologue was decent. Enjoyed most sketches, although bathroom coke and the game show felt a bit repetitive. Uh, Pre-tapes and weekend update were fun and enjoyed the car sketch despite Chloe using two hands.
Mm. Yeah, that the two hander thing is
I have
really something.
questions.
Really something. Like, we got to talk to Chloe's boyfriend and be like, is that
It's-
what? Is that too personal? Is that too personal? It probably is.
I will remain diplomatically silent.
Okay, as you should.
Yes.
Boardman gets paid. Lee Hot Lion. Episode of the year. Traffic altercation is an instant classic, and they fixed the ending with just about each sketch. Update prank was hilarious. That's all I got, lol. This is one of those episodes where we look back at and remember why you love SNL. I hope Quinta Brunson returns.
Yeah. And with episode of the year, it's 4 exclamation points and then a question mark. Episode of the year?
Yeah,
I think that's how that goes.
I think so.
Um,
I think so.
Jacob at Jake362. He says, one, I know the indictment is a big deal and I love JAJ, but I'm so tired of Trump. Overall, I totally dug the episode. Quinta is amazing. Please don't destroy. And traffic altercation were standouts. Like traffic altercation shouldn't work and was too long, but just when I'm thinking it's done, two hands.
Yeah,
Uh,
people really connected that two hands thing.
it was such a out of nowhere thing. And then he goes on to drug dealer was also funnier than it should have been. The cut my life into pieces and Michael Longfellow bits were hilarious. Only sketch I didn't think worked at all was Bosses, just one note. Everything else was enjoyable or better. So,
All right,
yeah, Jacob liked it overall.
fair enough. And Robert California says Yachty was the best part, which all right, that's an
That's a
opinion.
choice.
It's a
Disagree.
choice.
But hey, I didn't like your episodes of The Office either. So,
Damn, homie.
yeah.
Tight. Yeah, so and that's our episode, guys. Thanks for listening as always. Thanks for commenting and tweeting at us. Pretty
Thank you for
strong episode.
subscribing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks
Yeah.
for subscribing. And yeah, join us next week. We're gonna talk about with Molly Shannon and the Jonas Brothers. Hot diggity damn.
Hot diggity damn. And, please rate, review, and subscribe. We always love to hear what you think of the podcast, unless what you think of the podcast is it's not good. And in which case, keep that opinion to yourself.
Yeah, just shut the fuck up with that and just
Yeah.
keep yours. Yeah,
we really don't need that.
Yeah. We don't need that stress in our life.
Yeah, no, believe me. We have enough stress in our lives without that on top of it.
Oh, believe me.
Believe me. What's going on?
Oh my god.
And yeah, you can follow us at SNL Nerd Show on the Twitter sphere, and you can also follow our individual accounts on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Trumbull Comic, TRUMBULL, and the word comic.
And I'm
at where can they find you?
Oh, well, I'm at Darren Credible, DARIN Credible, Twitter and Instagram.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Doing it all, baby.
Okay, all right. So that's we'll be back here next week for Molly Shannon and the Jonas Brothers, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So until then, nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.